Okay, Michelle.
Hi, we're going to make nut roll in the Slovak tradition. I'm Renee Farrow, and this tradition's been brought by all my aunts and in the Slovak Coben family. And this is my Aunt Carolyn. She's the youngest of the Coben sisters.
I'm the cleanup lady.
And this is Michelle, and her mom is Helen Kowalczyk, who made fabulous nut rolls through the years. This was one of my mom's wishes, that I learned how to make this before she passed away. So I am the official nut roll wedding person and holiday nut rolls. So tradition, this is one of the old-time nut grinders that we've used. This has been passed down from my grandmother on my dad's side, which my mom used all the time and now I'm using. And it gives it a real nice fine ground texture. But again, you can use food processors on a very fine mode. But I like using this because it's tradition. It's what I grew up with, and it grinds it into a very fine mixture. So now what we do is we put the nuts in here and we grind them. And then we'll continue in a minute with the next steps. The next step in the filling process for the nuts is I'm adding the sugar to the nut mixture. I make mine very sweet. So this is going to make 9 nut rolls. I have 12 cups of finely ground nuts.
Oh, I did not have 1 cup of sugar?
Yes. Okay, so in here we have 12 cups of nuts, 7 cups of sugar, and then I really don't measure out my milk. I just pour it in to get the consistency level, which will make it easy to spread on the dough when we're rolling it out and getting it ready. So as soon as the milk, you just want to get it a little bit warm so that it mixes better. And then you're ready to go. Then your filling is done. So that's your easy preparation of your nut filling. Finely coarse ground nuts, sugar, and then warm milk. It's that easy.
Michelle,
Okay, ready?
I'm nuts.
So now the process, the final process is milk into your sugar and nut mixture to get your consistency.
Yeah, it's sweeter than the other.
Shh.
I want to see her. I want to see the consistency. That's important.
So you just keep adding the milk to the mixture so you get the right consistency that you like, that's easy to spread.
That's her pie pan. Put it in some foil.
You didn't measure this though.
No, I do not measure this. I just keep putting it in until I find. Okay, so we're almost there. We're going to need a little bit more.
We could do pierogi.
So this consistency is pretty much where I like it. It's just easy to spread. It's not real thin. You got to watch. You don't want it real thin. Very sweet, and that's the secret. The secret to good nut roll is very thin dough, good sugary nut mixture, and then rolled real tight like a pinwheel. No air pockets at all. So that's your goal. Okay, now we're going to start the dough process. What you need to do is put 1 cup of water, and this is going to be dough for 12 nut rolls. So 1 cup of milk, not water, I'm sorry. 2 tablespoons of sugar. But we don't add that till we get this warm, not hot. And it's very important. It's just a tad warm. If you get it too hot, the yeast will not ferment. So what you want to do is crumble up your yeast, a whole stick. Just crumble it up in pieces like this as your milk is getting warm. And like I said, please excuse my hand, but they are clean. Like, that's perfect. So just a second, take it off it. That's really important. You do not want it to be extra hot or it will not ferment. You crumble up your yeast, and then you add 2 tablespoons of sugar in here and your yeast mixture. Crumble it up like this, as fine as you can get it. And then what this is going to do is ferment while we finish the rest of the dough. And what I like to do is just very gently mix it just a little bit, very little. And then you just let it sit, and then it's gonna ferment. So starting our dough process is we're going to put, I'm gonna double this again, so 12 cups of flour, but we're gonna hold out, probably I'm gonna put 10 cups in here and hold 2 cups out. Because as the other mixture gets in, you wanna mix it up and then slowly add to find your consistency. So 6 cups of flour. Or no, I'm sorry, 12, but we're gonna put 10 in. 1,
Why? She just explained that and you weren't listening.
2,
She's gonna use it to get the consistency. She's gonna keep adding.
3,
Oh. We're watching, Renee, we're watching.
Okay, so now we take, as you can see, this fermented quite nicely. It doesn't need to get real big. That's why I like a thinner dough, so I don't let it ferment as much. And this is a very quick recipe. It's a sour cream recipe, so you don't have to wait for it to rise. And it's very moist. It rolls out very nicely for you. But again, it's keeping from fermenting. Next is we add the yeast, the milk, and the sugar. Spatula, here it is.
And when do you put the eggs in? You had the salt, didn't you?
No, I did not. So I need 2 teaspoons of salt. I'll just put them here on the side here. So this should have been put in before I put the formation. I apologize. And 6 tablespoons of sugar.
Wow, I thought you were done. Oh, I thought you were done with it. I wanted to give you some more room.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to mix. So we have 4 sticks of margarine. Use margarine and not butter
Why
in
not
this
butter?
recipe. It's called for margarine. That's just how the recipe goes.
I'm gonna take this downstairs. Please.
And remember, we still have to add 2 more cups of flour to this.
Pass here?
Yes, you may.
What is this?
What are you doing right now?
That's
Put
the nut.
sour cream,
Huh?
That's the nut.
2 cups of sour cream.
Why do you do that?
It's a sour cream dough recipe, which makes it very rich and wonderful. It needs kneaded more, and then we're adding the other 2 cups, which we already put 1 in, and you just do it until you find the right consistency.
But if you have a bread machine, you can.
Yes. Well, like I said, I'll take off the others and get it pretty close.
She works fast, doesn't she? Will you need flour to put on this?
Yes. Okay, now we got to the point where our dough's ready to go, and this is what the product's gonna look like right here. So I rolled one out. So what we wanna do is flour where we roll it out at, and I just love, I'm giving Tupperware a plug. I love my Tupperware. I had one from the time I was married and it kind of fell apart. So this is my brand new one. First time I'm using it, and this is the best size. And what you want to do is kind of get your dough and make it in a square, just with your hands a little bit. Place it down here, kind of, you want to roll it out as square as possible, as you can. And then flour that all up. This was my grandmother's, who was born in the late 1800s. This is her,
Really?
yes, it's her rolling pin. So I start going up and then out to the sides. And again, I want to make my dough as thin as possible. And I fill it with the nut mixture or the poppy seed or the apricot So again, this consistency is really good. Sometimes it gets a little or stickier than this, but it's rolling out very nicely. Trying to keep the square. Sometimes that's not possible, but that helps. Sometimes I just kind of put it together and just try and work it a little bit, but again, it's not that important.
Yeah, I do too. Where'd you get that, Renee?
Tupperware.
And then I put about 3 or 4 spoonfuls on here in different areas, and then you just start spreading it out. But I'm probably gonna need another scoop on here. Again, getting it out towards the end, covering all of your dough.
Renee, do you need anything to put it on top when you bake it? I have. It's butter.
I like butter on
How much
the
do you
top
need?
of it.
I have one stick.
Just one
That's enough.
stick's fine. And again, you can see how I'm getting it. And then the next part we're going to do once I finish this is really important. If you've seen some nut roll, you'll see some wider dough. Mine's going to be very thin dough, a lot of filling, and rolled very, very lightly. I pull the dough as I roll it. It's good. So you start down here on the end, and you get it all rolling together. You tuck it in, and then you roll and pull. Roll and pull. And this will give you that very nice pinwheel spiral look too. Your nut roll, when it's cut, not only will it taste good, it will look really good.
Unbelievable.
So again, rolling, pulling under, roll, pull under.
And we get Carolyn drinking her wine in the background. It's a very important element we've overlooked.
Yeah.
And every time I make this, and then you tuck in the sides here so that it completes it. Doesn't come out the filling. Just poke your finger in there. And again, and I'll put 3 on a, 3 at a time I do. And then we're going to bake these for 30 to 40 minutes, normally around 35 minutes. And now we have our finished product. You take it out after baking 35 to 40 minutes on 350, and when they come out, you just coat them with a stick of butter. It gives it a nice flavor, and then we're gonna let it cool for a few minutes, and then we'll cut it open and enjoy a piece. This is why it's good to use parchment paper.
Yeah.
Get a spatula?
So you can see the nice pinwheel effect.
Is it warm? Get the butter.
Perfect.
Get the butter.
Perfect.
It's like
That's
butter.
It's like butter.
All right, here we go. Everybody
I'll
has.
take the end piece. I'll take the end, Clark.
And that is the end.
The Skudka.
Do you want this to scoop?
Sure.